Hello everyone and welcome to part 11 of my painting guide for European soldiers. As you can see, we're almost there now with these guys, so it's just working on last details. Now today we're going to go through probably will be the most time consuming technique. This being the brass. This will be the buttons, scabbard, oh come on, focus. The scabbard, the hilt of the sword, and that. So what I'm going to do is I'm starting with barbarian leather from Coat d'Arms. And no, don't worry, I'm not doing this in some crazy non-metallic metal technique. I just always, when I'm doing brass or gold, use barbarian leather as my base, because I find when I'm doing brass in particular that the coverage isn't great, and if you don't lay down kind of a non-metallic base coat, obviously in this case the leather, that the coverage is rubbish. And so I always nowadays put this down, and basically it just gives you a better finish. So just going over basically pre-base coating all the buttons, which these guys have a lot. There's 3 on each of these pockets. There's 3 on each cuff. Now buttons on the cuffs are quite big, so best way to get decent coverage is almost a circular action with the brush, I find. Because the smaller ones you can kind of just dab a bit, but make sure you hit all the sides, because if you're anything like me, you'll paint one side, think you're done, then look, see you've completely missed the underside of the buttons. Which is what you can see I've done here. Right, last buttons to do are the little ones on his coat. And these ones I just tend to load the brush up a fair bit and just dab. And that does the job nicely. Right, so we'll get the scabbard done. Not the scabbard, the hilt. Then the scabbard. Don't even know what I'm talking about now. Of course I do, because there's the scabbard cap and there's the collar on the scabbard to do. That's me just digging my way out of a hole. But I'm doing the hilt guard, the shell guard in this case, of his sword. on these guys looks to be either saber or backsword. It's kind of a Kokeo guard, so it'd be a saber most likely, but I mean, well, it's a sword basically. It's an infantry sword. Yeah, being that they're infantry, so an infantry saber probably. So there's every chance that the guard would be steel rather than brass or brassed, but I just prefer the look of it as a brassed guard. I think it just adds a bit of colour to a model, and it just looks better. So I'm doing it like that. If I'd done these in a yellow coat, there's every chance I would probably have done it silver just so it stood out a bit more. Right, last thing to do. But that's up to you when you're doing your guys. I do some so it just stands out a little bit, you know. Adds a bit of variety without looking silly. Right. So there we have it. Oh. There's the pre-base coat done. Next up, we will actually put some metallic brass on here, but I'll leave that to dry first and come back. So see you for the next bit. Right, now that the pre-base coat's dry, we're going to move on to actually doing the brass. So what I'm using for this is it's good old-fashioned GW Brazen Brass, one of my classic paints, if you will. You can get this now from Coat d'Arms, and it's just called brass, I think. But any of your darker gold colors will do. So start off, I'm just gonna go back over where I painted with the leather color and just start my base of the brass color. Now, if you're familiar with painting with your brass colors and your golds, even not, and this is the first time you've tried over the over brown base, you should immediately see the difference. You know, you just get much better coverage. The paint it looks so much better. You know, you undo your one coat and it's great. Which is also good if you're doing things with particularly detailed models with very fine detail, because metallic paints tend to be a little bit thicker, I find, and more likely to obscure detail than your flat colors. So by having a flat color base, then you can do everything with the one coat of the metallic, and you just well, your base coat's your one coat of the metallic, and you know, you're saving the detail. Right, there's the buttons done on the coat. Do the ones on the cuffs. Right, just make sure I get both sides of this. Therein lies the trick. Other side. Almost there now. Right, last up, the scabbard. And the hilt of the sword. So there, you can see how easy that goes on. You know, I'm just one quick pass and you're there, really. Right. How's that looking? Nice, nice. Last up, the hilt. So there's the collar on top of the scabbard as well, which I'm just painting. I'm just painting them together. I'm not too worried because I'm gonna give it an ink wash next, and that will give me the definition between the two pieces that I'm after. So at this point I don't need to kill myself by making sure there's a tiny black line, because the ink wash will do that job for me. I would recommend as well, I mean this is probably me stating the obvious, but I find that metallics tend to thicken up on your brush quite quickly. So I would recommend giving your brush a quick wash between each model you do, and giving the paint another shake. That's just I find that from my experience to be beneficial. Your mileage may vary, but there we go. There we go. The metallics are done. Oh, the base coat and the metallics are now done. You see, you get a nice smooth coat on that, especially there. So we'll leave that to dry and be back with an ink wash. Okay, base coat's dry, and next up we're going to add an ink wash, give it all a bit of definition and depth, and for that I will be going back to trusty known oil. I know a lot of people shade with brown, but I've in recent years actually been using a black ink to shade brass and gold, which I picked up from a friend of mine. So shout out to Sparks for this one. I totally kind of took your technique. Didn't steal it. I was inspired. Because I saw in some models he was doing, he was getting this absolutely beautiful depth and contrast on his golds. So, well, I asked what he did. He told me, and I've never looked back. So again, shout out Sparks. Thank you for your inspiration, buddy. Because that's basically how we've all learned everything is, you know, ask people how to do things. If you see, I'll do it still today. You know, ask if I see how someone's done a technique and I like it, I'll ask how I did, and give it a try. So yeah, this is my little motivational tip for today. So basically, I'm now just giving these a quick wash round, bit define the edges a bit, especially with having the light cuffs. It's nice just to have that little bit of separation between that and the brass, just to crisp it up. So nice easy technique here, not doing anything special, just kind of making sure I'm running the brush around all the edges, make sure it's not too thick like it is there. That looks a bit horrendous. So I'm just gonna No, just gonna just draw a bit of ink off with my brush, and just make sure that I'm not going crazy. There we go. Looks pretty good. Oh, it's even better in focus. So it's just giving that the shade around the edges. Same for the scabbard and the hilt. So you'll see it best on the hilt here and where the scabbard color is. Because one of the other problems I find sometimes with metallics is they tend to be a bit foggy around the edges, if you know what I mean, a bit ill-defined. So an ink wash is always beneficial in my experience. Yours may be different, but hey ho. So there we go. Nice edges there. Yeah, don't worry, that looks a bit dark at the moment. We will be rectifying that with a few highlights. But that's for the next step, which we've got to wait for the ink to dry. So, see you soon. Okay folks, ink's all dry, so let's get on with the highlight. So where I'm going to start this is I'm going to start with old GW Brazen Brass, which is my base, and Shining Gold. Now, coat d'arms do the equivalent to these, and basically it's a brass color and a gold color. Use whatever brand you like. And I'm going to go for a 50-50. So if you can see my palette there. So, bit of that. Bit of this. Give it a good mix. And that just gives me a highlight, because I was originally playing about this game. I found that, and just thin it a tiny bit. I found that if you just went straight to gold over the top of brass, it was too much. It was too bright. So found a nice 50-50 gives you a good blend. And just go around all your edges. I'm gonna go for a 2-stage highlight on this, so I'm not going for the absolute crisp edge just yet. It's just gonna just want to bring the color back out a bit, brighten it up. But I've thinned it so it's not too thick. I don't want to lose the detail underneath. Just carefully. Oh, sorry. Bad camera work there. Too busy concentrating on painting buttons. So many buttons. Just gotta tell yourself when you're doing those paint the butt method, those paint the butt steps, like buttons, that it will be worth it in the end, because your model will look great. You just have to persevere through painting lots and lots and lots of buttons. Because long time followers of this series, remember I've got 12 of these guys to do in total. So yeah, buttons, many buttons. Right, So there's our first step done. I hope you can see that's brightened up quite a bit. If it would focus. There we go. So now, next and final step, I'll just add a little bit of silver. Or in this case, chainmail, but yeah, you go, same thing. Now, I'm just adding just a brush worth. Mix that in. If you get it so it looks, I don't want it to look silvery. I want it to still look, you know, on the brass side of things. Just a bit lighter. On this, I'm just going over where the light catches it the most. And just the top of things, kind of almost like a zenith highlight. And then a little point on the buttons. Last one. Nope. Still got the other pocket to do. Right. There we go. All done. Let's bring some more light over here. So there you can see we've got those gold buttons done. Probably no brass buttons. You can see how it catches the scabbard nicely. It's brought the shape of that out. Way. And it is an involved method, but my opinion, it's worth it. So that's it for this one. We've got one step left to do, which is the final details, which I hope you'll join us for next week. So thanks for watching. Please leave a comment below if like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.